Welcome back. I am so excited that you guys are here. And today I have an incredible woman with me. You might have seen her on TikTok with her husband and her beautiful family and her voice. Oh my God, I have Sheena with me.
Hi.
I'm going to pass you the mic. Do a little intro of yourself for those that probably might be, living under a rock and not knowing you.
Oh gosh, you're so sweet. So my name is Sheena Melwani, and I am a singer, songwriter, content creator, podcaster, mom, wife, human being, all of the above. And I kind of found myself in the middle of this social media whirlwind a few years ago, and I went with the flow like I do in most things in my life, and here we are.
I mean, first off, I want to just talk about what made you. I mean, this is probably a silly question because a lot of people went on TikTok dur- during COVID and all that, but like, what made you take the leap and really dig into TikTok and what it
So
can offer?
that's a great question. At least for me, it was not a planned thing. I know that a lot
Mm,
of families turned to TikTok. I know that a lot of couples, a lot of families just started just posting like crazy on TikTok. That was not the case for me. I'm a singer and a songwriter. I've been singing since I was 4 or 5 years old,
mhm.
and I took a break to stay home with my babies. I sang my last show at the House of Blues. I was 8.5 months pregnant, and I thought, oh, I'll just pop this kid right out and I'll go back to work in a few months. And I don't know if you have children, but that's not the way things go. It's just
No,
not.
no. Hmm.
Um, and so I took a long pause to stay at home with my kids. But when my daughter, our youngest, started kindergarten, that's when I started to recalibrate again and say, okay, I did the thing at home. I gave them everything that they needed, but now they don't need me as much. So what can I do now? And it was always my plan was always to turn back to singing and songwriting. And so it was about September of 2019 that I said I'm going to start looking at what the landscape was like because I didn't want to go on tour. I didn't want to join another band or a wedding band. I had done all of that and I just felt like I wanted to be purposeful and mindful of how I spent my time
Yeah.
because I had my kids at home and my family at home.
Hmm.
And so I turned to Instagram and Facebook, and I was trying to understand what that looked like. I had in a previous life or an iteration of my life, I had been on YouTube, and
Hmm.
it just it didn't look the same anymore. So I was just trying to figure that out. And then the pandemic hit,
Hmm.
and at that point, I remember turning to my husband, and I was like, "This is just not going to work for me. I don't think I don't see this working." And he said, "Well, I actually feel it's quite the opposite. I think it's exactly the right time for you. I think it's going to work out beautifully because people are home and all
Yeah.
they have to do right now is to scroll. They can't leave their homes. They're on their computers, they're on their phones, they're on their devices. Like, this is probably the best time for you to try this out." And so that's what I did. I started like a little Facebook page.
Hmm.
I divided my family life and my personal, my professional life. And I started doing these online concerts on Facebook. I would go live on Facebook. And I think it started out with 10, 15 people, just our close family friends,
Hmm.
aunts, uncles, that kind of thing. And everyone was home and everyone was lonely and everyone was trying to work through their feelings of
Yeah.
COVID. And I said, let's sing. That's what I do best. That's what I do when I'm broken. That's what I do when I need a little bit of motivation or comfort or something, when I need to feel something. So I turned to music. And those little concerts went from having 14 people to having 30 people to having 100 people to having 200 people. And I would just log on every few nights, and I was a human jukebox. People would call out a song, and I'd pull it up on like a Guitar Tabs app, and I'd play the song if I knew it, and I'd get through it. And if I didn't, I'd learn it for the next week or for the week after. And I did that for a few months. And one night when I was finishing up with a show, like an online show,
Yeah.
I said, to myself, I'll record this little snippet of a song and I'll put it up on my Instagram page because I was trying to document what I was doing. And it was that song by JP Sachs, "If the World Was Ending, You'd Come Over,
Hmm.
Right?"
Hmm.
Remember that song?
Hmm. Yeah.
And so I sang that first line, and my husband, who was in the other room and didn't realize that I was filming, he said, "False." And I was like, "You'd come over and you'd stay the night." And again, he yells out, "It's a horrible idea. If the world is ending, who's coming over?" And that's sort of our dynamic.
Hmm.
We make light of things. We mock each other. We've been married a long time, and that's just our dynamic with each other. We really just have fun with life. And that's very much his personality, and it's very much like in his nature to try to make me laugh. And he was trying. And as
I don't, it's not that hard.
well, I guess that's true. I'm an easy laugh, but it's like there are definitely times where I don't find something funny, and you guys never see that make it out.
Okay, you don't put the. Oh, got it.
No, what you get online is like a snippet of my life, right? You get 30 seconds, you get a minute. We definitely, there are things that we've recorded that have never made it online because they're not funny.
Right.
Or I didn't think they were funny, or he wasn't in the mood, or whatever it is. But
Right.
I think what we ultimately landed up with was this really funny piece of content. He didn't realize I was filming, and I didn't understand what was happening, so I just kept plowing through the song, and we ended up with this very authentic, funny piece of content that I was like, "Oh, this doesn't really feel like it belongs on Facebook, Instagram." Like, I didn't know what to do with it, and my brother had been telling me TikTok is the place to be. Like, it's where everyone's just a little unhinged, and so I threw it up there, and it went viral.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
And
I had no idea.
but that's the beauty of it, right? I think
Yeah.
that like you saw, you did this thing, you thought it was, why don't we put it here, and it just went viral, and those are
Yeah.
the best videos,
Yeah.
right?
It was really a right place, right time, right moment, right circumstances, like right piece of content. I think that that's also something that people were looking for. They were looking for this levity. They were looking for a dynamic that they could relate to. Here's like this couple, this family that is making things fun, making things less drastic, and that was just our way. And we realized how much comfort we got from creating that content, so we did it again, and we did it again, and we did it again, and we just kept learning and building and growing from there.
Now, for those that don't know, when your husband is in these videos, he has this like emoji head, right?
Yes,
And that also is your thing.
that is our thing.
I
I don't
mean,
know how it became our thing. Like, I don't know how I became the girl with the guy with the cartoon with the like. Necessity is the mother of invention, as they
yeah.
say.
Uh-huh.
And it was just kind of one of those things where he wanted to keep his personal life and his professional life separate.
Yeah.
That was very important to him. And I think by now, a lot of his colleagues have understood that this is what he does from time to time. And again, it's like a small little snippet of life that you get, right? You get one moment in an entire day. But we wanted to keep that division. And so we did. That was what people kept asking. But who's the guy behind the camera? Who's the
And
guy
that
behind the
makes it
camera?
even more, like people wanting more, because they think, oh, maybe she's gonna put up a video now that we can actually see her husband. We're gonna get to see him.
Yeah.
So it's that exciting moment. But
Yeah.
um, I kind of want to go into you're in this TikTok world now. You've got
Yep.
these videos, and what is the process like of building this content? Because as a content creator, it's not easy. Right?
No, it's not. And it's not only TikTok anymore, right? Now
Right?
it's grown.
Exactly.
We've
Yeah.
expanded. So when I started, yes, it was just my TikTok page that kind of blew up.
Hmm.
But when I made the decision to actually make this a business, a
Yeah.
full-fledged business, I definitely started researching other platforms and diversifying my portfolio kind of thing,
Yeah.
in that grand sense. It was like, okay, if this doesn't work out, then where else, especially when there was this instability with TikTok, right? All throughout, we've had these waves of like just lack of clarity. So I started, once TikTok was established and I knew what I was doing with TikTok, then I expanded, and it was like, here's another platform that's trying to build their short form content. Okay, let's dig in here, and let's kind of dive a little deeper. Okay, fine. Now that we've established this one, let's go to the third one. Let's build that one out. Let's go to the fourth one. Let's build that one out. So now I'm really across all platforms, and I just tried to understand they don't all work exactly the same, but ultimately we start with a piece of content and then we tailor it per platform.
So when did you like? So when do you feel like you were able to jump to one platform to the next, that you felt complete and that you know what content is good for each one? Because it can get confusing.
Oh yeah, it is confusing at times.
Yeah.
I still don't always feel like I have a pulse on what's happening where, what algorithms are changing when. Um, you just kind of I think I'm really good at following, like, when there are little signs that the universe, little crumbs that the universe gives me. Somebody had reached out from one of the platforms and said, "Hey, we're trying to build this. Would you like to be in the beta testing of this platform?" I was like, "Sure, I'll do that." And I kind of worked with them, and I built, one of the pages out. I can't even honestly, like, at this point, I don't remember which one came first, but whether it was Instagram, like, okay, working with people at Meta saying, okay, let's build this out because they're building out their Reels program, or whether it was that somebody at YouTube reached out and said they're building out their Shorts program, because all of these came after TikTok, right?
Yep. Exactly.
So it was, come work with us here, come work with us here, and then, like, build this platform for yourself, but now build this platform for yourself. And, Reels or Instagram was focusing on their 30-second Reels. So what I was previously doing at 1 minute, I had to shorten down to 30 seconds, and then they elongated it. But then TikTok wanted even longer. And then, you work on YouTube and they want even longer. Now they want shorter. So you have to keep playing with it, and you have to just go with what feels right for you, for your content. What I have learned is you cannot do everything well. Like, if you want to be an influencer, go be an influencer and focus on that. Focus on those affiliate links. Focus on whatever it is that you're trying to influence. If you want to be a creator and you want to do comedy content, like, focus on that. You might be able to dabble here and there, but really dig deep into what you're doing. You can't do everything all at the same time and do it all well.
I think you said that perfectly. I think when when you become a content creator and you have a vision, you need to write down what that vision is.
Yes.
Stick to that,
Yeah.
just like you said, and
Yeah.
really dig into that. I really, because it can get overwhelming otherwise, and then you don't know
Totally.
who you are. Like,
Totally.
So
Totally.
I hope you guys that are listening really got that, because it really made sense, for what you said. And I know for, like, people that are listening
Yeah.
that are, looking to be a content creator and wanting to, get to the point of where you're at, what are, like, 3 top tips that you would be able to give to them to keep going?
So I definitely feel like I've learned this along the way. I can't say that I've mastered it at all, and I cannot say that I knew this right off the bat. But have fun with it. Like, the minute you turn it into just a job, it stops losing, like, the allure and the joy of creation. If you can stick to creation just for the sake and the joy of creation, then you really find this, like, sweet spot. So I think that there are definitely. Oh, I'm so sorry about that. This is my son looking for me to pick him up. Sorry. So sorry, what was I saying? Yes. That this is going to come back in my second point, by the way. So the first thing is really just find joy in what you're creating. It's really about that. And when I stop and I think about the analytics, the numbers, the how many views we got, how many comments and shares and this and that, I really get sucked into not enjoying the content as much and not creating for the sake of content, but rather creating for views. That's never been, like, the right strategy for us. The second thing is be authentic. So if your son texts you in the middle of a podcast interview, you got to just go with it. Like, that's real life. We've all been through COVID and done our jobs while children have been in the background, or, like, coming through with questions about their homework. And, like, that's real life. We have dogs and we have lives and we have moms and dads and kids and all kinds of noise and disruptions. And that's okay. Like, everything doesn't have to be buttoned up and picture perfect. I think a lot of what we do on our platform is about just being ourselves, being
Yeah.
real, being authentic, you know?
No,
Um,
I couldn't agree more with you. I really couldn't. And I think that um I don't know if you've if you were at the Cheer Choice Awards. Have you heard of have
I
you heard of it?
have, but I was not.
Okay, because what you just talked about with the analytics part and not even thinking about it, because if you're thinking about it, that's you're really not in that vision of why you want to
Oh,
purposefully.
I lost you. I'm so
Oh, can you hear
sorry.
me?
You're back.
Okay, good. Okay. No, I was just saying with the analytics, like if you don't think about that, that's where the authentic part
Yep.
is. Don't think about the
Yep.
numbers. Don't think about the likes. All that. That's then that's not what matters. It's the
Yep.
impact. It's the
Yep.
impact that you're making.
Yep.
So I want to now switch over to this new single
Yes.
that's happening because I'm so excited for you. I think it's an incredible, from what I've heard a little bit of it. But please share what the song title, like all about it, like what inspired you about it to
Absolutely.
write
And
it, all the things.
absolutely, thank you for that. And I'll use what you were just saying about the Cheer Choice Awards and the impact.
Mm-hmm.
That I'm going to use that as like the perfect segue. So I don't know how you did that, but here I'm taking the nugget.
Yeah, take
Just
it,
like
take
I said,
it.
you pick up the nuggets and you just go with them. But this nugget is like one of the most important things that I have been learning along the way. I'm still learning it, I'm still digesting it, but it's such an important thing. What is your impact? What is the purpose of this content that you're creating? Whether it's music, whether it's content, whether it's a story time, whether it's a moment with your kids, what is the purpose of it? What are people going to leave feeling? And so this particular song and this particular like aspect of my content, my music, it's about connection.
Mm.
I love being able to connect with people. That's why I've always loved singing. That's always been my drive with music.
Yep.
There are moments in my life that I can pinpoint where I'm on stage, I'm singing to somebody or I'm singing to a crowd of people, but I like zone in with one person and I share this super intimate, special moment that we both just like lock eyes or we both just share that, you know, that to me is why music is so important and so special. And that's why it's such a like deeply connected to me as a human being. And so that's the reason that I continue to do this music thing, right? That's the reason I've been singing since I was 5 years old, and there was always something that I was like, this feeds me in a way that nothing else can feed me. So that's why I continue to do it. And even though most of the world online wants to hear this banter and this connection that I
Right.
have with my husband,
Yes.
like people love that. It's really fun. It's really relatable. But for me, like I keep going back to the music because that's where my joy and my connection stems from.
Mm-hmm.
So my impact with that, I feel like that connection that I get, I don't get it with anybody in any other way
Mm.
than I do through my music. And then the other thing with this particular song, I was working on a project with Bose,
Yeah.
and
Uh-huh.
Bose had this campaign that they were running called "Turn the Dial," in conjunction with this foundation called "She Is the Music." They were raising awareness to how few women in the industry are involved in like popular music. So you have it's a very small percentage of women in music production, music engineering, songwriting, artistry. Like all of the women are just not represented as well as the men.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were telling me about this, and I said, well, what can I do? How I have a platform. How can we make this work? So I joined forces with She's the Music, and they put me in touch with this amazing vocal engineer who then I went into the studio with. We worked on this song together. I had already written with an amazing female songwriter. So here were two
Yeah.
awesome
I
women.
love
And then we brought in another amazing female producer who just heard the song and knew exactly what it needed and just kind of followed all the crumbs to the finish line. And then we had it mastered by also another like kick-ass female. So all along the way, the purpose of this has also been to raise awareness and just to bring more women to the light. And it works so well with the lyrics of the song, Let There Be Less of Me and More of You. I think when we learn to put our egos down, check them at the door, and really allow, whether it's a project, a piece of content, a song, a story, or whatever, to just manifest itself. Like, we're so much stronger together. We are so much better when there's less of me and more of everything, everything else. So that's sort of where this project has kind of taken its journey. And I feel like in some ways I'm along for the ride. I know that I'm very much a part of like the origin story of it,
Right.
but
Yeah.
it has so much more of a life of its own now. And I love it. I love watching how it's connecting with people and what its purpose has become. It's almost like my anthem now, like more of you, less of me, more of you, less of me, more of you.
Well, I mean, it is your anthem, right? It can be your anthem now.
For
I
now,
mean,
yeah.
yeah.
Every time I write a song, I'm like, oh, that's my anthem.
Well, and that's what's so powerful, right? When you are able to create something so beautiful like that, it just like metamorphose is into something bigger.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I mean, I'm so happy that you were able to share this story because like to understand the vision behind the song,
Yeah.
that's even more powerful.
Well, it's funny because I was thinking about this concept, this less of me, more of you,
Mm-hmm.
in my home. So a lot of what I write, actually all of what I write, is just a reflection of what the story I tell myself in the mirror. When I look in the mirror, it's what am I feeling? What am I working through? What challenges am I facing? What joys am I enjoying? So this particular moment was captured when my children were growing, and my son especially. I could see that he wanted more independence. And as a parent, when you're so used to doing everything for your kids, it's like, okay, but let me just
Get in there. Get
yeah.
in there.
And so at one point it was like, no, it needs to be less of me so that it can be more of him. And that concept just kind of grew. And I was like, but that's everything. That's everywhere. I'm not saying make yourself smaller. I'm not saying make yourself invisible. I'm just saying like make space for everything and everyone. So it's a really fine line, obviously, but there's really beautiful things happening when you just pause for a second and you don't make it all about you. So I loved that moment that I worked through so much that I wanted to capture it in those lyrics.
And I think I 100% I think you did. And when we're ending this, I definitely want you to share like all the ways that they might be able to listen to it when it is like
Thank
officially
you.
out and whatnot. But
Yeah.
my last question, which I love to ask this question to everybody I interview, when you look at your family,
Yeah.
right, and through the journey that you've been on, what is that ultimate legacy that you want to leave?
Joy.
Mm.
It's all about joy. Like we're not the family that cares how well, yeah, they do well in school, but I don't care if they do A pluses, A minuses, A's. Like it doesn't matter. Are you happy? Are you kind? Did you spread joy today? Did you share a kind moment with somebody, a connection? That's really what I think that we have clung onto so tightly in all of this. My husband and I say it all the time, like we're so grateful that we found this community because that's what it allows us to do. It allows us to share a little laughter, a smile, a piece of, just a small little connection.
Sheena, I just want to just take a moment and just say that it's been such an honor and a privilege to chat with you, and I can't wait to see what's next for you. And like I said, I've been watching your journey since the beginning, and I'm just honored to sit with you and be able to chat with you
Oh,
for a little.
that means so much. Thank you. The feeling is so mutual. I really, really enjoyed our chat. I feel like I did all the talking and I wish
No,
I was
no.
less of me and allowed you to be more of you.
No, this is your time to shine, okay, sis? Your time to shine. But
Thank
for all my
you.
listeners out there, they're gonna want to reach out to you, want to connect with you. Please
Anywhere they
share.
want. I'm on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, but the best way to DM me is on Instagram. I generally spend at least 15 minutes to 20 minutes every day going through my inbox and trying to answer a few DMs. I do miss a lot. I get a lot of angry messages like from the third time, like I'm trying to get in touch with you. But I do try my best and
Can
I
we
appreciate
share
all the
that?
messages.
Let's share that for a second before we close out, because
Yep.
like when you're a content creator like Sheena is, like she has a large following, but in all of her platforms, she's working really hard to reach each and every one of you, right? But you've got to understand that that inbox is going to be like this.
I can never get to the bottom of it.
So
But I'm so full of gratitude for it. Like that is a blessing.
such a
That
blessing.
is a
Such a
huge
blessing.
blessing and I am so grateful for it. And I will try to get at the end of the day I'm like, did I at least get to where I left off yesterday? But try, definitely send me a message. I definitely will try my best to see as much as I can. And I love, love, love reading notes from people, DMs from people. And I love even more when they listen to my music and tell me how much that helped them or that connected with them.
And oh, and I don't think you mentioned when the song comes out. Like, how are they going to
The
be able
song
to
comes
do?
out May 21st,
Okay.
so in like a little under 6 weeks. And right now, if you go to my bio, there's a link in my bio and on all the platforms that will take you to like a pre-save link. You can pre-save the song or you can pre-buy it. But on May 21st, it'll be available on Apple, Spotify, Amazon, all the major streaming platforms. It's called More of You. Otherwise, you can find me at Sheena Melwani everywhere. And that's it.
Amazing. Guys, if you love this episode, please share it on your social.
Yes,
Tag,
do
tag
that.
the two of us. We'll show you back some love. But Sheena, it's been such a pleasure, and you guys have a great day.
Have a good one.